Okay guys, welcome back to Old World Wednesday. In today's video we're going to be tackling another Cathayan miniature, one that has some particularly awesome options to build in the box, but they didn't show those options off at all. Like if you go on the website now and look at the character, you don't see the incredible options to pose him and stuff, which I think is a big mistake. So I'm going to basically build him in the coolest pose I can think of. He basically looks like Obi-Wan Kenobi from the Clone Wars, and I think that's absolutely incredible for a Cathayan model to be in that kind of awesome pose. I'm going to get painted up for you guys. I may even change the color of his robes a little bit just to match in with that little bit of a nod, just for fun. Before I get into it though, a huge thank you to everyone there that continues to support the channel, watching all three channels, liking, commenting, so making sure you're subscribed. That's a really big help, so thank you guys so much for continuing to do that. And anyone out there that supports over on Patreon, you guys are literally the lifeblood of the channel. Without you guys, we literally can't do this. I know I say it in every single video, maybe some people are sick of me saying it, but it just means the world to me. So thank you guys out there who do continue to support over there. We try and give back as much as possible. We give you extra videos. The podcast is only available over there. You get access to a private Discord server. There's painting competitions and community showcases. And I like to give a large scale box set back to you guys every single month as like a prize. Last month we gave away a Mechanicum army. I don't even know what we gave away the month before. Something cool though. But this month we have something extra special. Usually I have it on display here. Although the box is out this month, I don't have one yet to show you, but that is what I shall be giving away. I'm sure some of you can figure out what that big box set is going to be. So if you're excited and you aren't picking up one of those sets yourself, but you'd really like one and you want to be on a chance of winning one, all I need to do is be signed up to the Patreon at any tier. Okay guys, thank you so much for listening to all that rambling. Let's dive in and get this awesome Cathayan model painted up. Okay, so this is the awesome new miniature from the Cathay range. I know it's not exactly new, but it's an Astromancer, which is obviously just a basic wizard, and it's something that the range really needed. Powerful wizards already, but none of them kind of more basic ones. And like I said at the beginning of the video, it's only when I was constructing this guy and going through the instructions of the Battle Force box set that you could see these alternate options for his hands and his head. And obviously, I left the one on horse being very kind of, I don't know, kind of so much gear. He's got the big fancy hat and he's got the staff and he's, you know, all that kind of stuff. Whereas the one on foot I made a little bit more simple. He obviously has the awesome pose, which I think is definitely inspired by Obi-Wan Kenobi. He's got the unhelmeted head. I've always loved like samurai movies and martial arts style movies. So I've always thought of that like samurai like top knot and that little goatee as just like a really cool aesthetic. So being able to put this on a character was awesome. Big thumbs up from me. And like I said, Obi-Wan Kenobi inspired means that I had to pivot just a little bit from my standard. It's still going to be orange and black in places, but his main robes, I'm going to give the Jedi kind of cream robes, just as a little nod to that cool pose and just for a bit of extra fun. And so he stands out a little bit more on the battlefield. So as you can see, I did use Skeleton Horde for his robes, and then we just went in with a normal Fugan Orange and Black Templar contrast for the other areas. Guilliman Flesh for skin, and then obviously we'll do things like Lead Belcher and Retribute Armor Gold and stuff for some of the other details. As I'm plowing through making videos for Cathay, I am doing more and more of the really interesting models, which is of course pushing all of the kind of basic infantry to the back. It basically means I'm going to have every cool thing painted for the army, and I'm just going to have mountains of infantry to paint. So I really am going to have to try and force myself to get some more of the infantry painted up soon if I plan on playing any more games. Obviously, the old world is such a big passion for me, and I wish Games Workshop would just dip their toe in it a little bit more right now. It seems kind of rudderless. All the focus, of course, going on 11th edition for Warhammer 40k, which is leaving all the other systems a little bit in the dark. And I just don't think that the old world community can be left in the dark like this. You're going to cause the momentum to kind of peter out, which is not what we need. We need to be hearing updates that Kislev is soon and getting images of bear cavalry and all that kind of stuff to get us excited and keep us going. Or the next kind of update to the rules, which will allow, I don't know, maybe some of the Legends factions to be brought fully in. My guess is Ogres and Skaven maybe would be next. That would be really cool to see them back. That's just my hopes and dreams. Maybe one day those hopes and dreams will be made real. Who knows? But obviously Cathay is just such an incredible army and one that I'm enjoying painting very much so. Obviously all the other models for the old world have been fairly old.
So it's nice to be painting a new army for such an old game system. It's just awesome. It just gives you a little glimpse of hope of what the future is going to look like for this game, and I'm here for it. I will collect every new army that comes out and try and show you guys as many videos as humanly possible on how to get them all painted up and ready for the tabletop. So as you can see, we've gotten all the base coats and shades on the model, and now it's time for that also fun shade layering stage. And that's of course where we lean on too thin coats range. You could absolutely use Games Workshop paints for this. I use the too thin coats because I've got a little bit of a practice with it. I really like how their orange turned out. I've done their orange and black scheme on a few other projects just as a test, and decided to kind of charge ahead with it as the Cathay force will be, which means I'm just going to stick with those range of paints for the entire force, so they're all cohesive and they all match and stuff like that. I am a big fan of too thin coats paints. Even I'm not like sponsored by them or I get paid by them. None of that. It's just paints that I choose to reach for, grab, and use. So yeah, take from that what you will. I just think their triad system is really nice and gives really nice results when you follow it. So yeah. Skeleton, Legion, and Vampire Fang are the two coats of paint that I'm going to be using to layer up those cream robes we talked about. To put a drop of glaze medium into each of them just so they're a little bit thinner. You don't want any kind of chalky paints when you're applying the cream or white colors. So yeah. Which does mean I went over each step maybe once or twice just to make sure I did get a slightly more opaque coat than normal. Here I'm going in with the highlight for that. That's Skeleton Fang, Vampire Fang. Obviously hitting those more raised areas and leaving the shadowed bits nice and dark. And that's all I did to really make the kind of cloth pop. I think it looks really nice. And I think that cream color definitely works with the paint scheme that I'm doing as well. So perhaps other characters could for sure incorporate that into them so they can match in a little bit better. Going in with the blacks again, we started with obviously the Doom Death Black, but we went into the Death Reaper and then into the Dungeon Stone Grey for kind of final, very small amounts of highlights on those sections, giving you a nice smooth black coat. Obviously, as I'm applying the grey, it's just so light. I just want little tips, little corners, little sharp points. If you kind of overlayer with this, you will make the black look like it's grey, which is not the goal of what we're trying to do here. So, yeah, take your time with highlights like that. Cadian Fleshtone, Berserker Bloodshade, and Kislev Flesh. I'm sure you guys have seen me use this a lot for painting my skin, my Caucasian skin. I think it works a treat. Cadian to kind of block in the basic volumes, the shapes of hands, fingers, face, nose, cheeks, that kind of thing. And then actually adding a little bit of rouge, a little bit of warmth back into the skin, because the skin, like Guilliman Flesh, is a nice contrast, but it's not a contrast I think you can leave at all, especially over Grey Seer. It's just so pallid and so lifeless that it just doesn't work for me doing that. So the Berserker Bloodshade really does add that pop back into the skin. And then we got back in with that Kislev Flesh for just those final highlights on the little kind of tips of nose and stuff. It just pulls it all together and makes it look fantastic. Some Liberator gold to highlight the gold sections, which isn't very much. He's just got his awesome big, like, looks like Buddhist beads with some, I don't know, religious symbols hanging around his neck. The like clasp holding up his big top knot, and then obviously the hilt of his sword and stuff. Returning to Leadbelcher just to tidy up those pauldrons. And the examples they have, it was gold. I just thought that was a little bit too gaudy, so I kept with the standard silver for that, which I think was the right choice. Moot Green, White Scar, and Ardco. We actually had a Warpstone Glow in first, so this is Warpstone Glow. And then we go in with the Moot Green, and we're doing that crescent moon shape, because he does actually have lots of kind of like orbs and gemstones and stuff. Used to obviously help channel all of his psychic energy and his magics. So I wanted all of those to stand out, so we're going to put a little bit of effort into those, make them look awesome. I decided like the big kind of armor chest piece protecting his stomach, and I was going to give that a big crystal as well. Once again, just to add that awesome bit of color into the model. And then as usual, in the opposite kind of corner of the gem that we did the kind of greens, we put a dot of white in to add as reflection. We give it a coat of Ardcoat over the top of that to make it look nice and shiny. Add a grass tuft, and we have our finished model. Hello there. I think he looks great, really pleased with how he turned out. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this. You are enjoying the Old World Wednesday series and you're looking forward to more videos very, very soon. As always, please do put in the comments below if there's any specific videos you guys want to see.